Okay, here we are. Hey,
Here we
Donna
are.
McPherson.
Hello, Kate Payne.
Thank you for joining me on my
You
rebirthing of
are
Coffee with
welcome.
Kate. And I actually have
Absolutely.
coffee today.
Me too.
So here, welcome everybody. Coffee with Kate's been on a little bit of a hiatus, but we're also going to be doing this on StreamYard from now on, and it's going to be on a podcast with audio only. So I've got all of this worked out, and we're going to be doing this once a month live. And so I'm so excited to have my friend Donna McPherson here. Donna and I met, I think, in like 2021 at the eWomen Network International Conference in Dallas. And I had a booth, and she came by and we met, and then we became friends. And then she ended up working with me on her LinkedIn profile. And now she is like next level now. And so she's got a background as a CPA and certainly knows all the CPA things and the tax things, but we're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about Donna's next level move to be known as a profitability CPA and also a profit strategist. And I love what Donna's doing with this, because we all talk about the importance of generating revenue in our businesses, which we need to do. But we also maybe don't talk as much about the money that we keep in our pocket to actually do the things that we want to do, whether it's vacations or it's philanthropy or whatever it is. So we're going to talk a lot about financial freedom today too. So Donna, just in your own words, just kind of give us a little bit of a snapshot of how you went from CPA to where you're at right now with your business.
Happy to. First of all, thank you for having me on your comeback or rebirth
Yeah.
of Coffee with Kate. As you know, Kate, I have been in this business for over 25 years as a CPA, doing audits. And then I had my own business, a brick and mortar business, a restaurant. And that's when I really discovered what it takes to succeed in business. The accounting stuff is great. We need that. We need someone to help us understand where our money is coming from and where it's going. But that does not necessarily mean that we're profitable, because that's what happens after you've operated your business and then you're at the end of the year, end of the quarter, and then you realize what happened.
Right.
I believe what business owners who are serious about running a business that is profitable and efficient and that will give them the financial independence, security, or freedom that they need to understand what to do before they start operating so that they can direct their attention and their focus on the results that they want. And
Right.
for me, the results are profit. Profit is what will keep the door open, is what will give you longevity, and what will give you the financial freedom that you desire as a business owner.
Right. I'm so glad you talk about this, because it is really important to talk about generated revenue, because of course, if we're generating revenue, then we know that our product or service that we offer is in demand, like because people want
Yeah.
it, right? So
Yeah.
that's the supply and demand side kind of thing, right? But
Yeah.
but I don't think we talk as much about profit. And so one of the things that you and I have talked about in our work together is how kind of uncomfortable it is that people are, sort of on this treadmill of just kind of always getting revenue in the door. But then what are they doing on the back end so that they're not always feeling like they're in a grind?
Exactly. Um, it is one of the biggest problems I think that many entrepreneurs face. They work really hard, they generate significant revenue. And then at the end of the month or the end of the year, they're asking themselves, what happened? Where is the money? Well, if you don't have a plan to keep the money and direct it to where you want it to go, it's going to go where others are calling it to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So we got a question. Our friend Betsy Clark is on. So hello, Betsy. So she says, glad I can jump on for a quick question. I have a question for both of you. I love thinking about the stories we tell ourselves. Tell me, what are the stories we tell ourselves about money? Give me hope. So I'll let you go with your story first, Donna.
I think the
First, you
story.
have to say hi to Betsy.
Hi, Betsy, my friend. It's so good that you're able to join us. So I think the story many entrepreneurs tell themselves is they've got time to make it up. Um, I'll do whatever I have to do now. I'll spend the money I need to spend because I'm going to be making a lot of money later. So they don't pay as much attention to where their money is going. I believe that those are the things that is going to get many people, those are things that are going to get many people going down the wrong road if they do not start off with a profit focused mindset. Money will come and it will go, but
Mhm.
unless you have a plan to keep it, you won't.
Right. So why don't you give us an example on the same question that Betsy gave? Give us an example or the way you live your life. Let's kind of segue into that financial freedom that you talk about. So talk about like when you think about your business and the growth that you've had in the last 2 to 3 years and the things that you enjoy, because I know you love to travel and various other things. Kind of share from your standpoint, because one of the things you and I talked about when we first started working on your LinkedIn profile was sort of about the rookie mistakes that you made. Like we all do it,
Yeah.
and I'm just as guilty about not necessarily paying attention to profit either. But then as you've moved in this direction, share with us about like what's important to you for your financial freedom and how you make that happen, because I think that's part of the story.
So happy to. I believe that there are three levels on your financial journey. The first level is financial. It's first you want to achieve financial independence. It was very important to me on my journey that I become financially independent. Having grown up in a household, a large family of 9 children, there were times when we really had to struggle a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there are things that my mom and dad sacrificed, but we didn't know it. But seeing that, I understand that one thing that I wanted for myself was not to be, okay, I might get in a little trouble for this, but I'll go there, but not to be reliant on a spouse to take care of me as my mom did.
Right.
I wanted to have financial independence. And financial independence is the first level. It's where you are able to manage your expenses and your obligations without depending on anyone else.
Right.
Now, it could be temporary because if you have a job, you lose that job, you have a business, you lose clients, it could be temporary.
Mm-hmm.
But just to be able to do that is the first step. The next step is to have financial security, which is where Kate, that whatever you have coming in or the monies that you can depend on, whether it is income from savings, or whether you have a other reliable source that you can depend on to be there,
Right.
that if that gives you the security that you can live a certain way. And then
Right.
the next level is financial freedom. Now that's Oprah kind of money where you
Yeah.
can just pull out your black card, your
That's
platinum
Donna
card.
McPherson kind of money.
I'm working towards where you can buy whatever you want. That is what I think most of us aim for, but we first have to get to independence, where you
Right.
run a business that provides the income that will allow you to live the lifestyle that you want.
I love that. So let me just change this banner here. I'm sorry. I don't want that up there yet. Let's talk a little bit about the savings side, because when you and I were growing up in a certain era, we were always told about having a savings account like at a bank or something like that. So when we take it to today's times, as entrepreneurs and CEOs of our business, what would you suggest are some examples of ways you can be saving beyond the traditional, savings account in a bank? Like what kinds of advice would you give people to, or give some tips on ways they could save and that might work for them?
Yeah, this is really very personal for
I
me
know,
because
I sort of
I
figured.
grew up where my mom always had money, no matter how little it was or how much it was. And I was raised to understand that you never spend everything that comes in. You never spend everything that you make, all of the revenue that you generate. You always save some either for rainy days or for a time when you can support or help someone. So with that mindset, I think it's very important when you have a plan. First, you have a plan for the revenue that's coming in so that you know it's going to where you want it to go. And
Right.
that plan should include an amount that you are setting aside for the future,
Right.
whether it is in a tax deferred savings plan, which is one option,
Mhm.
or it can be where you set aside emergency funds in your bank account, in a savings account, so it's accessible when you need it to. And the other one is the good old fashioned way. You can keep it at home in a safe or under
Yeah.
your mattress, whatever
Under
you
a mattress, which sometimes sounds like a pretty good idea these days.
right. But you should always have access to some of the money that you're making.
Right. So is an IRA another way? I mean, I know that IRA is more like retirement, but are there times where that might make sense that if you need it, like if you really need it for some reason,
Well,
that's an option, or is that really something you shouldn't look at because it's sort of taboo because that's supposed to be for the future?
Well, listen, we save so that if we need, we can access it. Sometimes there's a penalty to access our own money. We don't like it, but that really prohibits us from making that a go-to place when
Right.
we need money. So
Right.
I say yes, save it in an IRA if you can. Save it in a 401k in your company if you're a small business owner. You have several options to save money, whether it's a 401k, a SEP IRA, or any other kind of retirement plan. And when you do that, not only you get to set aside money for the future, but you also get a tax break, which lowers your taxable income and lowers your taxes.
Okay.
But before you do that, you should speak with a financial advisor or your own accountant.
Okay, great. So I love this. So first of all, I just want to give a shout out to Julie Ulstrup. She's up in northern Colorado. So thanks for
Hi,
joining us.
Julie.
And a friend of mine from Vermont is here, Bob Farnham. He just said he subscribed to my YouTube channel and got notified of this. So he also said that he really appreciates this information you're sharing because we all need to know about this. So let me go back to the Roth. I mean, not the Roth, the 401k. If you are like I hate to say solo entrepreneur, but if you're like an entrepreneur who's just you and you have a team, maybe they're W-2s or maybe they're 1099s, can you do a 401k?
Depends on whether or not you are an S Corp or a C Corp.
Okay.
If you are an entrepreneur sole proprietor and you file your taxes on a Schedule C, you can set aside money in some kind of IRA, but to really get a great benefit, if you were to become an S Corp,
Okay.
then let me give it to you this way. As a sole proprietor, if you have 100,000 in profit, the first thing you're paying is 15% self-employment tax right off the top,
Yes.
and then you pay income tax. If you are an S corp, you can decide to put yourself on payroll for 50,000, and right away you save 7.5%
Wow.
because you're not paying self-employment tax on your entire profit. You're only paying self-employment tax on what you pay yourself in the form of a paycheck.
I want you to repeat that because that's a really good point to emphasize. So if you're an S corp,
If you're an S corp, normally, if you're a Schedule C filer, meaning you're a sole proprietor, 100% of your profit is taxable in two forms. In the form of self-employment tax, Social Security, and Medicare, there is a limit, so it's not 100%. There is a limit. I can't remember it right now.
okay.
But 100%. Let's say you make 100,000. I know that for sure. 100% of that is taxable. However, as self-employment taxes. However, if you were to have an S corp, you are required to put yourself on payroll and not just take a profit draw. The IRS doesn't like that because
Okay.
that is how people avoid self-employment tax.
Ah,
However,
good to know. Okay.
you can
I pay
determine,
my self-employment tax, just saying.
me too. However, whatever amount of that 100,000 you choose to pay yourself, if you pay it to yourself in the form of a paycheck, you only pay self-employment tax such as Medicare and Social Security on the 50,000 you pay yourself on a paycheck.
Wow,
So
that's
right
really
away, instead of paying 15,000 in self-employment tax, you cut it to 7,500.
You know what I love about you and this knowledge you have is that you always give good examples and you always make it easy to understand. And I think that's also a differentiator for you, Donna, and what you do. I know lots of people who are CPAs, great people, really smart people, but there's just this energy that you have and this vibe that you bring that I think is what makes people really want to work with you. So let's kind of shift over to your business a little bit. So
Let me
who,
just say
who
this
are,
one thing, Kate.
what?
The reason I can talk about it like this is because usually I have to figure it out for myself.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's like you said, when we first worked together on your LinkedIn, on your personal story nugget, we talked
Mhm.
about the mistakes you made in business because we
Exactly.
all make them. And you were so transparent about it. I think you even shared with me that some people found you through LinkedIn for that, and that's what made them reach out to you because you were
Exactly.
being real and you weren't coming across as like super polished, brainy, person. You're kind of like, you know what, I'm human too,
Yeah.
and I think that's what kind of people are drawn to you. So
Thank
let's kind of go over to where you're at in your business now, because now you're really positioning yourself as this profitability CPA and a profit strategist. So
you.
first, before we get into that, kind of describe the types of clients that you typically work with. I know you work with a lot of women entrepreneurs, but what type?
So I work primarily with service-based business owners who are generating high revenue, but are not seeing the results in their bank account. So what I help them do is ensure that they're transforming their hard-earned revenue into profit by giving them what I call a revenue and profit plan. Actually, it's their profit freedom plan. When we were at conference last year, earlier this
At
year,
women, yeah.
we talked about momentum money. I
Yes,
call this your freedom money.
right.
Business should give you a certain level of freedom, whether it's
Mhm,
independence, financial, whatever it is. And so
mhm.
when I work with someone, I focus on what kind of freedom that they're looking for. And when we build out their revenue and profit plan, that's a part of it. So they can ensure that their business is not only serving others, but serving their own purposes as well.
I love that. All right. So now talk about, because you've been putting together some programs or courses or things that will help people with this profit strategy. So tell us more about that.
So what I have been working on is it's a six-figure profit system, although I may tweak the name, but the essence is the same.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
you're working on this like right now.
I'm working on it like right now,
Yeah, right.
because
Hmm.
I have spoken with a lot of entrepreneurs who will tell me the amount of money that they have made over the years.
Hmm.
When I say make, they did one half of the making money, that is generate revenue,
Right,
but they weren't able to convert it to profit.
right.
So I am working on this program. It's going to be a 90-day program to bring people from generating to revenue to hitting their profit goals to transferring it into their personal accounts, in some of it in tax deferred ways and some of it where they can use it and spend it right away. It
Okay.
is to ensure that their hard work is giving them the business success and the financial fulfillment they want for their personal lives.
Now, is this a course or is this something that they work on with you, or how do you deliver that?
Uh, I am delivering it as a course because I've done it privately, one on one, or in quads, and it's a little involved. So I'm working on delivering it as a course where they will have opportunities to meet with me at several points, ask questions, and so on. But the great thing is, I've done it. I've done a cohort. What do you call it? The trial run.
Mastermind or
No, I did the
webinar?
trial run.
Oh, beta.
The beta. I already did the beta. I've got great reviews from the beta. I've added some things based on that. And I'm going to do another beta with only about 12 people. So it will be the first 12 people that qualify because it clearly it won't be for everyone.
Right. You
At
need to vet, you
about
need to vet and get the right
I need
person in
to
there.
vet, and I want to make sure that people are putting their resources, where it will benefit them.
Of course. Right.
So, and it will be for probably about a third of what the price will be when I officially launch it. So,
Now
if there
you're
is an
launching this soon,
opportunity,
aren't you?
uh,
You're launching this soon, aren't you?
I'm launching it soon because I want people to be ready for 2025. I want
Okay.
them to have this um, opportunity to really direct their revenue so that it benefits them.
All
So
right.
it
So
will be the first
how would
month.
how would people who are watching right now or watching in the replay, thank you for watching the replay. What would be the best way for people to sort of keep in touch with you or follow you so that they can see when you make the launch announcements and stuff like that?
Well, if they can follow me on social media, or they can send me an email. They can
Okay.
send an email to hello@DonnaMcPhersonCPA.com, or they can either do it right from, oh, I see you have the information right up
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
Awesome, Kate. Or they can, through my website, there's an opportunity there to reach out to me also.
Okay.
Or
So I'm
follow
going to
me
put
on
up your
social
website
media.
again. So there will be what will there be something on the homepage or will there be a tab they need to check?
There will be a tab on the homepage, or they can go to contact me on the
Okay.
homepage and just drop an email and just remind me that you saw it here on Coffee with Kate so that I can consider you.
Okay, great. So I want to kind of jump to the fun side a little bit because Donna and I are also friends, personal friends, and when we get together, we always have a good time. But if there is somebody I know who can make fun inside a paper bag, it is Donna McPherson. And so, but you put up a lot of posts, and you've been doing this the last 3 to 4 months, especially, which are great posts about basically it's like you show yourself on a trip or you show yourself on the beach or at a cruise or whatever, but you're not just showing it like, hey, look at me. It's like, hey, I work hard to do this work so that I can do this. And it's a great example of showing people what sort of financial freedom looks like. So just kind of share with us the fun parts. Like, what are some of the things that you've done this year that you would not have maybe been able to do had you not been planning to do them, in a way financially to do them?
Well, one of the first things I did was to restructure my business so that I can have the opportunity to do that. So I always encourage business owners to, when you think about your business, carve out a space that's just for you so that you can have fun. That's the first thing I did. And the next thing I do, Kate, is I allocate a portion of my revenue for Donna.
Good.
Donna Fund, I allocate a portion of it. When I travel to speak, I set aside extra time to enjoy the city. There are so many ways that you can ensure that your business is taking care of you
Right.
without costing a whole lot of money. You
Right.
just have to be intentional about it. I am in business to have freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make sure I have that freedom.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Or
you've taught me a lot that way. I mean, you and I, being in the Women Network, are surrounded by so many dynamic entrepreneurial women, and we know a lot of the same people. I mean, one person that has taught me about really carving out that time, like you said, is Julie Miller Davis,
yeah,
who has basically, it's like at the when you're planning your year, and we're all in this point, we're all coming into the fourth quarter, plan out your year. And the very first thing that Julie suggests that we plan is our time off, our vacation, anything, a holiday or whatever is important to us. Block it off now so that you protect it going forward. And I know you do a version of that. I certainly do a version of that. But the other thing I noticed with you this year at conference is you've been to conference many times, but you were very intentional, like you said, about what you did at conference. So you went to the things that made sense for you, and you did other things outside of the conference that also made sense for you. And so you were very intentional. And some people might think like, wow, why? But this way you're making it the experience you want it to be. Do you want to just expand on that?
yes, exactly. I think that there's so much going on in business, and especially when we go to conference, we want to meet with friends, we want to attend all the sessions, and sometimes our brain and our body just cannot accommodate all of that.
Right.
And rather than doing it and feel stressed or coming home and not remembering the experience or remembering what you learned, you pace yourself.
Right.
But you have to know what will work for you. I know that doing a full day, day after day after day, doesn't really work for me. I'm not as young as I used to be. So now I
You are
take
in
that
spirit,
into
my friend.
consideration and I pace myself. But here's something that you touched on that I want to add on to about putting your time off in your calendar. When you are doing your planning for your finances, your revenue, and your profit plan, you should also ensure that the number of days that you're allocating to income producing work covers all of the things that you want to do in your
Excellent
business,
point.
in your
Yep.
personal life.
Right.
When I work with a client, we usually base it on 3 of the 7 work days. 3 of those days we allocate to income producing work, and
Mhm.
and then we create the revenue plan based on that. All the other days are for sleep, rest, marketing, networking, and all those things. Those activities have to be paid for from somewhere.
Right.
And people get into trouble financially when they don't plan for that, but then they want to go out. They go out and they have those experiences anyway, but it's at the peril of their finances.
Right. That's an excellent point. It's something I need to be better about too, actually. I
And guess
think
who can
you know,
help
we
you?
all we all get into our own little thing, right, Donna? Like we're all like, plugging
We
and
all
chugging,
do
plugging
them.
and
And
chugging.
listen,
And then when you step back and you hear somebody like you talk about this, it's like, oh, right. That is something that makes sense. And I need to incorporate that. So that's really helpful. So as we're winding down here, we've had a lot of people join us today. I'm thrilled.
hi.
And I look forward to people in the replay. Feel free to put anything in the replay. In the questions, tag me or Donna, and we can
Mhm.
answer questions even days after this live event. So Donna, just share with me a little bit what lights you up about what you do, especially with this new sort of profit strategy, side of your business now or
Whew.
focus.
So, what I got? I'm going to just use 1 minute for this or less.
You got whatever you want.
So one of the things that really lights me up is my own experience. As you know, Kate, a few years ago, I went through a divorce, right? The one thing that I didn't have to worry about was how I was going to fare financially.
Right.
I was able to make a decision based on what was right for me and the future without feeling like I needed to stagnate myself because the marriage was a main source of income for me.
Right.
I had financial independence, and having financial independence gave me the freedom to choose what was right for me.
Hmm.
That's what lights me up when I work with people. I want them to have the freedom to choose. And we can have that freedom through our business.
Absolutely. I mean, isn't that kind of why we went into business in the first place? I
Yeah,
mean, we didn't go into it just to make money because all of us who have gone into our own businesses are going into it because we love what we do and want to help people get
yeah,
successful in whatever service we provide. Like that's our passion. And at the same time, we want to make a living. And whether you want to make the $1 million or whether you just want to, do even $250,000, that's still pretty darn good,
that's pretty good if it's a service
so
based.
whatever works for you is what really matters.
Yeah.
Um, and I love that. I had a mentor years ago who said a man is not a financial plan. And I
How
love
did
how it
I
rhymes.
learn that in my 20s?
I know. I probably should. I think probably heard that more like in my 30s. But it's funny because I think I was raised anyway in more of a traditional. I
Me
think, and
too.
it wasn't because my parents weren't free thinkers, but they were raised that a woman could have a job, but she still had to raise the kids and all the things, and that's kind of how I was raised. But then as I went to college and everything, and really learned how to be independent, I was like, you know what, I can go for so much more than this.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I also wanted to share, you've got a really great resource on your website, which is your blog. And this is a really interesting source that if you go to Donna's website to this link on the blogs and scroll down, you can get this article or I don't know. It's not an ebook, is it?
It's an I don't think it's an ebook. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what it is. Right
PDF. I think it's like a
It's
anyway.
a PDF.
So yeah.
Oh, you
And
know
so,
what it is? It is it. I remember now. Oftentimes people would ask me, they would say, Donna, everybody says like, know your numbers, know your numbers. What are some of the numbers I should know?
yeah,
And so this talks about what are 5 numbers that you should know to be
good.
profitable and have a business that works for you.
Yes. So take a picture of this because you can't click on it. So if anybody's watching, take a picture of this. And then you can go to Donna's website and get this. Donna has a ton of resources, really great videos about like the money gap. Just briefly describe what that is, just to give context.
So that was a video I did on how to close your money gap. It's
Close
like,
your money gap. That's right. Okay.
yeah, we're here. We're here. We want to get here. What are some of the things you should do to ensure that you're able to? And I talk about it's focusing on generating revenue with high value services. I talk about how to plan your expenses and spending to make sure you're not giving it all back. How to pay attention to taxes, and all of that are linked to the 5 numbers.
Okay. Cool. Donna, I can't thank you enough for making the time to be with us on Coffee with Kate today.
Yeah.
So I know this isn't a Cosmo because, normally Donna and I do Cosmos when we're together, but this is coffee and it's in the morning.
It is
here in Colorado. So thank you so much for your time today and your expertise. And everybody, please follow Donna on LinkedIn. This is how you do her name, is Donna-McPherson. And any questions you have on the replay, please put them in the comments and we will get back to you. So Donna, hang on after we stop going. Don't leave the room yet. And thank you all for being here today.
Okay, bye.